Cyclones, Iowa. If you don't mind the wind, 20 miles an hour, which is why Iowa State, despite winning the toss, deferring, they'll have the wind at their back. You see 50 degrees. That's actually warm for this time of year in these parts. But the winds will get up to 20, a little bit higher than that. And we expect to be rain-free today. Longhorns will get the football first. It'll be the Horned Frogs, I beg your pardon, back to receive, and Brandon Carter will watch it sail over his head. They'll take it at the 25-yard line. Our Academy Sports and Outdoors right stuff players to watch for TCU's offense and Iowa State's defense.
Well, I think today you got to pay attention to Aaron Green. It's his second start at TCU, but really the first start where he's really going to be a guy asked to do a lot today. And then Trevone Boykin, the quarterback, well, Casey Paha was suffering from a broken arm. He's now wide receiver, caught 100 yards worth of passes a week ago. And then the two leading tacklers on this Iowa State team, Jeremiah George leads the Big 12 in tackles, and Jaquez Washington at safety can take you down as well.
They fake it to Green. Paul Hall going deep down the sideline and tipped away at the last second. It was intended for Ladarius Brown, who's kind of become their go-to guy. Great coverage on the play by Jansen Watson.
Well, it was a really good play by Jansen Watson. You can see a lot of hand fighting going on, but Watson got that left hand in there just at the last second and knocked that ball away. And look, they're going downtown in the very first play, and you can see Casey Powell telling Ladarius Brown, go get the ball. Don't wait on it. Go get it.
The Horned Frogs lost two very good receivers a year ago to the NFL, and Boyce and Dawson trying to find go-to guys this year as this one's caught in the flat by Boykin, the former quarterback who's done a little bit of everything this year.
Well, TCU wants to go up-tempo here to start this game. Casey Powell knows his offense cold. He's been here since 2009. He was here while Andy Dalton was taking his team to an undefeated Rose Bowl victory season. And he's waited his time.
On 3rd and 6 and a penalty flag, the first of its kind. This will be 5 yards backwards for TCU.
Start. Offense. Number 14. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That's our first look and listen at our referee, Randy Crystal. The false start was on the wide receiver, David Porter, and Baldy. That's one of those always unforgivable errors, a false start on a wideout.
Well, it's a pre-snap penalty, which sets you back. But I gotta tell you, it's homecoming here in Ames, Iowa. It's a 1-7 football team, but this crowd is electric. I mean, they want a Big 12 win, and they're going to give their team all the support they can get here.
Now 3rd and long, and a pass. He'll be out of bounds. That's Dotson on the reception, who caught 8 a week ago, but out of bounds, and TCU unable to garner a first down on its first possession. They will punt it away.
And look, that's an important thing. I mean, all these stops early in this game are important. And the fact that Iowa State took the wind here, TCU going to be punting into the wind right now. They're going to get good field position. Now, this wind's going to knock this ball down. It's going to be a factor all day long. It was just in the decision for Iowa State not to take the ball.
Albert Gary, a 5th-year senior, back to receive. From the 39, a fair catch called for, and good field position for the Iowa State Cyclones. Our Academy Sports and Outdoors right stuff players to watch for Iowa State's offense and TCU's defense.
Well, Quentin Brundridge is their leading receiver, but he only caught one pass a week ago, and Tom Farniak, the center, has got quite a few starts here. One of them, the real more stable offensive lineman on his team, making his 31st straight start. And then Jason Brett, he's not going to go today. He's got a bad shoulder right now, and Paul Dawson leads this team in tackles at middle linebacker.
And, of course, the big story for Iowa State, it'll be the first career start for Grant Rohash, filling in for Sam Richardson. Rohash aggressive on first down and throws that into some heavy coverage.
The ball went right through Justin Coleman's hands. Rohash making his first collegiate start, just a freshman. Been playing off and on with Sam Richardson the last few weeks. They like his arm strength, and he's the one that has practiced better between the two.
On second down, again to the air. bobbled and then eventually caught. That'll pick up about 4. Catch pulled in by number 11. That's the tight end E.J. Bibbs, who Coach Rhodes says has a chance to be a great tight end now in his junior campaign.
Well, I was talking to the other tight end, Ernst Brunn, before the game about Grant Rojas. He said he's nervous. You would expect him to be nervous. We're all nervous doing our first thing at anything. First broadcast, first football game. But with some early success, those butterflies will calm down.
4 wide on 3rd and 5. Rojas is well behind the intended target. They had Bundridge dragging across to his left, but the throw was about 3 yards behind him. Kevin White on the coverage for TCU. Let's check in with J.C. Pearson.
Yeah, guys, one thing to watch. We talked about Jason Verrett is not playing their All-American corner. But instead of backup defensive backs in, they put Deontay Gray, number 20, in at right corner. He's a wide receiver, so definitely something to watch.
Absolutely. Verrett, the All-American, not the same secondary without him as TCU. And Eccles Looper will call for the fair catch near the 10. Second drive for the Horned Frogs when we come back from Ames, Iowa. No score early on. 59 remaining first quarter, no score as you look at one of the more versatile players and one of the more talented defensive backs in the nation, Jason Verrett. We were told there was a good chance he'd play. He made the trip. He's practiced, but not in the game thus far. Meanwhile, second drive for the Horned Frogs, so 3 out on the first drive, and not much running room for Jordan Moore, who's escorted out of bounds near the line of scrimmage. You see what they're missing with Jason Verrett out. Jim Thorpe Award finalist, Lott Impact Trophy quarterfinalist, 5 midseason All-American teams. He's been invited to the Senior Bowl. He's going to be a high draft pick, and again, one of the best in America at his position.
But, you know, as the case with all injuries in football, gives another player an opportunity to step up and get an opportunity.
On second down, behind the block of his right tackle, that's Aaron Green. You're going to see a lot of number 22 today. Wayman James has been suspended. B.J. Catalon is injured. So 22 and 29 Jordan Moore will have to carry the workload.
So think about it. Their top 3 rushers so far this year through 9 games will not carry the football today. So it gives Aaron Green a great opportunity. He was a 5-star recruit. A lot was expected of him, and he's going to get a chance to show a lot of it today.
On 3rd down and 5.
Really, Iowa State going with man-to-man coverage on the outside.
They try to run wide, and it is sniffed out perfectly by Iowa State. Aaron Green had absolutely no running room. Jeremiah George, the leading tackler in the Big 12, one of the first to meet him.
Well, he sniffed that out right away. And he came downhill, and he's going to get right in the backfield right now and disrupt this play. Here he comes, playing off the block. And that is his 9th tackle for loss this year. It's a specialty of his.
94th total tackle on the season. Meanwhile, the punt completely botched. And again, the wind about 20 miles an hour. It's important to watch how the wind can play a factor in the punting game, not just after toe meets leather, Baldy, but when he drops it from his hands to his foot.
Well, it's a gusty wind, so it can gust up to 30 miles an hour right now. So let's just take a look at, yeah, I mean, the ball turned right on the front of his toe.
And, Mike, you talked about affecting the punts, but it's affecting the way they play offense, too, because it's hard to throw into the wind, and that's probably why TCU tried to run the ball on that 3rd and 5 instead of throwing it.
Great point, J.C. Even with a strong arm like Casey Paulhall possesses, it's a risky play in this wind. Nice job, meanwhile, by 97 John Kuntz deflecting the pass.
Well, in so many of these bubble screens that you see in college football where the ball's thrown horizontal to the line of scrimmage, defensive ends gets their hands up in those passing lanes. Easy pass to back down.
On 2nd and 10, trying to run it Left side, Wimberly slips and falls for a loss. It'll be 3rd and long.
Well, Aaron Wimberly was the leading rusher on this team with a couple of 100-yard rushing days, one big one against the University of Texas. And then 2 weeks ago, just prior to Oklahoma State on a Thursday practice, he tweaked his hamstring and he's missed the last 2 games. Got a patch on his right hamstring right now, trying to keep it warm and protect it. But much is expected of his ability today.
Horned Frogs rushing 5. And no time, no room, nowhere to hide for Rojas. Sam Carter, the all Big 12 safety, coming in and picks up the sack.
Well, you know, going to see Carter's just coming off the edge right now. He comes in late. Nobody picks him up. But really, a problem for both Iowa State quarterbacks this year is trusting their eyes and when to throw the football. We've seen that from Sam Richardson and Grant Rojas. I know it was good coverage down the field, but they're afraid to make a mistake right now and end up holding the ball.
You'll see a lot of those zone blitzes, safety blitzes from TCU, one of Gary Patterson's signature calls. As the punt inside the 20. It'll be Iowa State football inside the 15. Homecoming here in Ames, Iowa. Great crowd on hand. Scoreless ball game thus far here in the first quarter. Game with 9:36 to play in the first quarter. Fox College Saturday returns with a triple header beginning with USC taking on Cal on Fox. Then Kansas battles 14th ranked Oklahoma State on Fox Sports 1, followed by Texas squaring off against West Virginia on Fox. Coverage begins Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern with the college football pregame show on Fox Sports 1. With J.C. Pearson, Brian Baldinger, I'm Mike Morgan. Great to be with you here on a beautiful day. Ames, Iowa, scoreless. Each team looking for its first down. And on first down, it'll be Jordan Moore, the bruising tailback, a sophomore out of Atlanta. Jared Brackens on the stop for the Cyclones.
Watch how TCU is spreading Iowa State out here just by formation. How wide their wide receivers get. They're just trying to take the cornerbacks and even the safeties out of the box. They've been lining up outside these numbers up here. Here they are in a stack formation, double stack right now.
Green the lone back. They give it to him. Probing the right side and just shy of the first down. You needed the 20. They got the 19.
Take a look at Jeremiah George in this last run right now. Just his ability to, how quickly he moves to get in position. You see how his shoulders are square. It's a side shuffle, then he's square, and he gets low. He plays low with a good deep end to be able to take more down like that.
They had some big shoes to fill. They lost a couple of very good linebackers down in the NFL, and not flying. 3rd in the yard. Paul Hall sliding awkwardly right at the 20. I think he's got it. Wasn't pretty. He saw Jeremiah George, and he went down like a ton of bricks.
It was a good baseball slide. It's a great grass field here at Jack Trice Stadium. And so it looks like they put it past the stripe. I mean, it's just read option all the way. He's not as fleet of foot, but he certainly is big at 230 pounds. When you slide, you give yourself up like that, but you got just enough for the first down.
First time we've seen a team move the chains. There's Aaron Green straight ahead for a couple, maybe 3. Corey Morrissey, the defensive end, junior out of Ames, Iowa, on the stop.
TCU huddling up here. I mean, they're a team that likes to play with tempo, but they're huddling up here today in the wind and on the road, making sure that they all get the signals. Empty backfield, no backs. Good call.
2nd and 7, Paul Hall. Rifles one complete. 29-yard line caught by Trevone Boykin, who's done a little bit of everything this year. Miller on the tackle for Iowa State after a pickup of 6.
You know, and Trevone Boykin, yeah, I mean, he started at running back. He started at wide receiver. He started at quarterback. And I asked him before the game, what do you like? He goes, I just like to play. But he's a natural receiver now, and I think the fact that he played quarterback helps him at the receiver position.
3rd down, inches, and instead it's a loss. Jordan Moore slipping and falling backwards.
I think it was Morrissey that kind of forced him back there. Morrissey comes in, he chases him, and then he just loses his feet as Watson comes in to put the wood to him.
Hey guys, remember on the conference call, their biggest concern with their backup running backs is running north and south. And that time, Jordan Moore bounces it and doesn't get the first down, and they really were all over him on the sideline.
And they should be. 6'3", 221, and now the return is botched. Scooped up by TCU and down to the 5-yard line. Gary could not handle it, and picking it up was 88 Cam White, one of the wide receivers who almost took it to the house.
Well, Albert Gary, the wind is really affecting this game right now. This ball is bouncing right now, and he's not in a position. He's not square. He doesn't really want to pick it up. And he's looking at the 3 TCU coverage players coming down, and he's totally indecisive. He should have just gotten away from that ball. There was no reason to get a hand on it.
Because it was a muff, they will actually mark it back to where he fumbled it. Right, so it goes back to the 23-yard line. In a game in which both offenses could struggle today, a turnover like that on special teams is huge.
Well, it's such a flip of field position is what it is. And Iowa State, who had done so good getting off the field on 3rd down.
First down carry left side. Boy, Iowa State salty on defense here in the first quarter. Aaron Green could not find much daylight. Give him maybe a couple. Guess who? Number 52, Jeremiah George.
Well, think about this, Mike. I mean, right now, TCU is averaging about 3.4 yards a carry. Iowa State has given up over 220 yards a game rushing. Something's got to give today. Which one is going to be? Right now, Iowa State is winning that battle up front.
And the Cyclones have been gashed all year long defensively. Again, the ground. Paul Hall keeps it. Gallops toward the near sideline and is knocked down at about the 18-yard line.
See, now Paul Hall doesn't give TCU what Trevone Boykin gives you in the option read game. I mean, right now, Iowa State will say, you know what? We'd rather see Paul Hall carry that ball coming off that broken left forearm than any of the backs right now. They're going to take the dive away. Boykin in the game right now at quarterback.
Not surprising. Trevone Boykin, several reps in the last couple of years at the quarterback spot. And as you mentioned, Baldy, he gives you that kind of dimension with the running ability. 35. Boykin cuts back. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, TCU. That's why they put him in there. What a run by Trevone Boykin.
He said he likes to play the game, and it doesn't matter where he's at. Wildcat, quarterback, receiver, running back. He made 2 guys miss off this read option right now. They're optioning off that defensive end. So there it is. He's reading him. He sees him coming for the running back, so he takes off with it. Now 1 miss, 1 cut, and TCU off of a muff punt gets on the board first.
Overchrome remains perfect in his career on extra points. But the story of the drive, Trevone Boykin comes in at quarterback for 1 play, scampers 18 yards. Horned Frogs 7, Cyclones nothing. 7-0 our score. First quarter of play with 5:09 to play. The 2 key players on that last drive, Albert Gary with the fumble. And then coming into the ballgame, Trevone Boykin for 1 play at quarterback makes the most of an 18-yard run for the score. That's how we've arrived at a 7-0 score here in the first quarter. I told you wind would be a factor. It certainly has been thus far. This return from the 4, shedding tacklers, trying to find an alley left side, and a shoestring tackle at the 27. Otherwise, Neely might still be running. Last drive, it all started. Probably would have been better served to let that ball bounce. Instead, Gary tries to pick it up. Cam White says, thank you very much for TCU. And then on 3rd down, Trevone Boykin comes into the ball game. 18 yards and a score. And Baldy, we talked about the importance of field position. That's about a 50-yard differential as the Mitsubishi scoring drive for TCU, a quick one, 3 plays and 23 yards. See how the Cyclones recover. Hard running, banging his way, Chantrell Johnson for a pickup of 4.
Well, Chantrell Johnson has gotten a chance to start with the hamstring injury to Aaron Wimberly. So he's gotten a lot of reps. Wimberly back in the backfield now on 2nd down. And he's a pretty good receiver out of the backfield as well.
Second and 6. Hit as he throws, and the pass is overthrown, intended for Quentin Bundridge. JC?
Yeah, absolutely, guys. I was wondering why they weren't attacking Deontay Gray, who's the wide receiver playing cornerback. But the way you attack him is not just to run down the field, because he's a guy that has a lot of speed. You want to make him change directions, plant, and cut. So run some outs on him, run some curls, and then set him up on some double moves to get by him. But you got to try him because he's not used to being in coverage.
Here's at the bottom of the screen, JC. A converted wide receiver, played some cornerback last year for the Horned Frogs.
On 3rd down, way wide of the mark, intended for the tight end, E.J. Bibbs. So far in his first start, Greg Rohach maybe still has some butterflies.
Well, I mean, it may be butterflies. Right now, he's just not seeing the field well, and he's not throwing the ball accurately. So we'll see just how patient Paul Rhodes is with them. He replaced Sam Richardson in that defeat last week to Kansas State. So we'll see how much time he gives them. But certainly on 3rd downs, you got to be able to make those short throws to convert and sustain some offense.
4 consecutive incompletions now for Rohach, the redshirt freshman out of California. Vanderkamp, one of the best in the country at punting. A fair catch in heavy traffic called for by Eccles Looper. So far the story, TCU opportunistic. Trevone Boykin, 18 yards and a score, 7-0 TCU. TCU 7, Iowa State 0 for a Fox College football game break. Let's check in with Laura McKeeman.
All right, Michael, elsewhere in the Big 12, Kansas State at number 25, Texas Tech, and Davis Webb with a 3-yard touchdown pass to Eric Ward. The Red Raiders take a 10-7 lead, guys.
All right, Laura, thank you very much. And, of course, we'll have Kansas State next week in Manhattan against these Horned Frogs of TCU. Coach Bill Snyder's team always seems to come on strong in the second half.
4-4 right now. Impressive win against Iowa State last week.
Power running by Jordan Moore. He goes 6'3", 220. He's out of Atlanta, Georgia. You say, well, how does a kid from Atlanta wind up at TCU? Well, one of his high school coaches actually played for TCU, so he was heavily involved in the recruiting.
He's got the state record in Georgia for the high hurdles. Great speed. A couple of injuries the last 2 years have kept him on the shelf.
Penalty flag here.
False start. Offense number 77. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's on the left guard, Jamel Knapp.
My old offensive line coach when I was at Duke, Eddie Williamson, in charge of bringing this offensive line together. He's been there a while under Gary Patterson. A lot of young players and experienced players. He's trying to get these guys to continue to improve, especially in the run game here as they go down the stretch.
This is 2nd down and 12. Straight up the gut. A steady dose of Jordan Moore, who gallops for 5. Morrissey on the stop.
I'm kind of shocked here that they're not putting the ball in Casey Pawhall's hands. I mean, they are just trying to run the ball right now. This win must really be affecting what really TCU wants to do.
Yeah, you're right, Ball, because it is pretty windy and blowing right in the face of TCU, so I think they're cautious about throwing the ball into the wind. I mean, last week, Casey Pawhall threw the ball 58 times, so I know they got confidence in him throwing. It's got to be the wind.
He's going to throw it here on 3rd and 7. It's deflected at the line of scrimmage. Rodney Coe, the defensive tackle, a 6'3", 305-pound junior, got his paw on it.
Yeah, listen, if you can't get to the quarterback, you got to get your hands up. That's exactly what Rodney Coe does. So he's right in the passing lane. They were going to Brandon Carter on this throw. That ball still didn't come out with a real good spin, a tight spiral. So the wind is going to be a factor all day today. It's already being a big part of both teams' game plan.
Good-looking punt by Perry. And it'll go out of bounds at the 25-yard line.
Albert Gary back there at punt return even after he muffed the first punt return. So confidence in Paul Rhodes to keep him out there.
So the Cyclones offense comes back out onto the field, and they need to get something going, Baldy. 9 plays, just 3 yards. Yeah,
3 3-and-outs, going backwards right now. Haven't really established anything. Grant Rohach hasn't thrown the ball well. They haven't won the line of scrimmage, and TCU is a very opportunistic defense. Sacks, interceptions, forced fumbles. They're a king of.
Up the middle for 5 yards. That's Aaron Wimberly, the former junior college All-American. He led Iowa Western to a national championship. And Paul Rhodes signed him, and right away he became the feature back. Second down, call it 6. And upended near the line of scrimmage was Wimberly. Chris Hackett on the stop for TCU.
This kid, he's their leading tackler, and he's their leading playmaker on this defense. He gets so low, he gets underneath everybody. I'm impressed by both inside linebackers, Anderson and Dawson, and how they play, and Chris Hackett at safety. All three, the 3 leading tacklers are right in the middle of that defense.
Another third down opportunity for the Cyclones. They're 0 for 3. This is 36. Off to the left side. Good, strong running and lunging ahead for what I believe is a first down. Aaron Wimberly.
Watch Chris Hackett here. He's the safety on that side of the field. Gets square, and that time Wimberly just went underneath him. Cut his legs out from underneath him.
It looks like 96 Chucky Hunter, and that's one of those 2 bruising defensive tackles that TCU features.
What a day he had against the Longhorns this year. He had 10 tackles in that game. They rotate 3 guys inside Lewis and Pearson along with Hunter. Gary Patterson said that he had about 50 healthy bodies that he could play today. He was allowed to travel 70.
Right.
He said he's down to about 50. He doesn't try to make any excuses about the injuries this year, but they certainly have had their share.
And of course, none bigger than Devontae Fields, who was a freshman All-American.
It looks like Hunter gets his legs cut out right up from underneath him by an offensive lineman.
Baldy, explain for those that hear all these rules about now blocking near the knees, what's legal, what's illegal. You look at a play like that, what do you see?
The previous play is under further review.
So they're reviewing what the spot right here. They've already moved the chains, giving them a first down. To answer your question, though, Mike, about what is legal, what isn't legal, I mean, you can't be engaged with the defensive lineman. Okay, I'm the offensive guard. I'm engaged. You can't then come and cut him while I'm engaged with him.
But what we just saw, 100% legal.
Yeah, legal. They're going to try and look at this spot right here. Spots are reviewable.
He needed the 30. Now, where is the ball when his rear end hits the turf?
Obviously, his rear end hits before the 30-yard line, 35-yard line. Where's the ball? The ball does look like it's before it. Yeah.
From that angle, he definitely looks short.
Yeah, he looks short. And if that's the case, it's going to be 4th down. And I can't believe in a game where it's so dictated by field position that Paul Rhodes would go for it, even though it's going to be less than a yard. They've made a decision.
After further video review, the runner was a foot short of the line to gain. It'll be 4th down, 1 foot.
I wonder, Baldy, if there's... they're already going to send the punting unit out.
Well, let's just see. Yeah, they moved it back. There it goes. He didn't get the 1st down. It's going to be 4th down. Yeah, they moved it a foot.
Yeah, you know, you could make the case if you're Iowa State, you're 1-7, you're 0-5, why not just go for it? But Paul Rhodes, he's approaching this game. I mean, in a lot of ways, this is the biggest game of their season. They have got to get that first win in conference. And they'll play it conservatively with the punt here as TCU. Eccles Looper calls for the fair catch. BCS top 10 big one tonight. Alabama taking on LSU in the Southeastern Conference. Florida State at Wake. How about the game last night, Baldy? Oregon shut out in the first half.
Well, they were down 26-0. Came back with 20 straight points to make it a game, but really Stanford took it to them. Ohio State is idle, and what a performance by Baylor in Waco against Oklahoma. Baylor's not going to drop in the polls. They may climb a spot by the time we get to Monday.
Missouri, we're told, just took the lead on Kentucky by scoring a touchdown. We would have thought Mizzou could be in the SEC championship game.
And without their quarterback, James Franklin, for much of the season right now.
A crazy year in college football, and something tells me we haven't seen all the madness come through just yet.
No, we've got some a lot of big conference games, especially in the Big 12 here. A lot of backloaded games here as we come down the stretch of November.
2nd down and 10 again. TCU going into the teeth of that 20-mile-an-hour wind. That might be a big reason for the conservative play calling as Casey Paul slides right into Jaquez Washington, one of the top safeties in the Big 12.
Well, you know, Iowa State is loading up right now to really stop the run. They're vulnerable on the outside. They're not great man-to-man coverage team, but this wind is affecting these throws by Casey Paul. So the wind is really aiding right now this Iowa State defense.
They used to call this stadium the Wind Tunnel.
Well, it's the Wind Tunnel today.
Swirling, gusting winds today, right in the face of Paul Hall and this TCU offense.
Boykin in there at quarterback, and we're going to call timeout.
TCU, their first timeout. It's 30 seconds in length.
You saw Trevone Boykin for the 2nd time at quarterback in this ball game, coming off a huge week. And look what he has done. I mean, this is historic territory we're talking about.
Yeah, we had 100 yards of receiving, 11 catches last week in that loss against West Virginia. But look what he's done. I mean, 100 yards rushing against the Red Raiders, threw for over 200 yards against SMU. About as well-rounded an athlete as there is in college football right now.
That trifecta that you just saw on your television screen, he's only the 2nd guy to do that in the modern BCS era, which began in 1998. 3rd down and a foot. Boykin hands it off, stacked up, but forward progress.
Hey, look at it. Iowa State wants a timeout right here because they want TCU to punt into this wind right now.
Forward progress got it to about the 24, but still well shy. Nightly on Fox Sports Live, join Jay Onright and Dan O'Toole, along with Donovan McNabb, Andy Roddick, and Carissa Thompson as they bring you all the scores, news, and highlights you need. Catch Fox Sports Live nightly on Fox Sports 1. It's been a busy day for the punters.
Not great averages so far. But that was a strategic timeout by Paul Rhodes, forcing TCU on this 4th down to pump one more time into this treacherous wind.
Gary back to receive. He muffed one earlier. Fair catch here at the 41-yard line. Best field position of the day. for the Cyclones for a Fox College football game break. Let's check in with Laura McKeeman.
Right back to Kansas State and number 25 Texas Tech for more Big 12 action. Jake Waters with a 1-yard QB keeper helped K-State take the 14-10 lead. And Mike, you got to watch out for Bill Snyder and his Wildcats.
Into the end zone, Waters. Well, we're looking forward to seeing those Wildcats next week. Kansas State, you know, it's kind of hard to replace Colin Klein, who was so instrumental in everything they did the last few years, but they're a
touchdown machine.
See that in the this TCU as Aaron Wimberly bangs his way for 3, and that'll be the final play of quarter number 1. Defensively dominated. 1 key turnover. TCU capitalizing. The Horned Frogs 7, the Cyclones nothing. You are watching Fox College Football. 7-0 our score. Our Coors Light game summary. The Cyclones offense stagnant this far. 5 drives, just 15 yards. Starting quarterbacks struggling. The muff punt setting up the Trevone Boykin 18-yard touchdown run. And that's how we've arrived at a 7-0 score. Best field position of the day for the Cyclones. We'll see if they can take advantage. First down between the tackles, tripped up after a gain of 4. That is Aaron Wimberly. Paul Dawson, who had a huge game earlier this year, 17 tackles against Kansas.
I tell you, that Paul Dawson, he was a high school wide receiver at Skyline High School in Dallas, but he is emerging as a playmaker.
Cyclones go up-tempo, and there is the first completion of note, 17 yards. Complete to Albert Gary.
That was a good throw. That was a good throw by Grant Rohach. See if they can get a little momentum off that.
No huddle, up-tempo on first down. I saw Paul Dawson, number 47, in on another tackle of Aaron Wimberly.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, that was a good play to throw the ball even though you're going into the wind, because look how close the safeties for TCU are playing. They're playing all run, so you got to throw the ball against some of these guys.
Now they are at linebacker depth right here, JC. That's what they're there for, to stuff out the run and take care of Wimberly. What they're doing right there is they're basically telling Iowa State, you're going to have to throw the ball to beat us.
Right.
And that's, you know, they're just announcing it pre-snap.
Now you have what is going to be a nightmare perhaps for Grant Rohach and company. 3rd and long. This is 3rd and 11 as you see Sam Richardson. Don't be surprised if he gets into the game. They played a lot of musical quarterbacks at Iowa State lately.
Not just this year either. Over the last 5 years.
Rohach settling, firing. Corner route. Contact there, but no call. Intended for Brundage.
Well, they went after Deontay Gray that time. We'd mentioned it. But really, the ball was thrown to a different spot. I mean, here it is on outside. There's Gray. Just a corner route right now. See, that ball is thrown. Really, it's thrown to a spot, and Brundage really kind of stopped and stuttered when he did. He wasn't on line for the ball. Actually, pretty well thrown ball by Rohach.
Vanderkamp on the punt. It's a fake. Vanderkamp going deep. Caught at the 15. And holding on, taking the lick, is Justin Coleman. 25 yards and a first down.
And the Iowa State quarterback dilemma is solved. It's their punter. What a nice call by Paul Rose. And that's what you need to do when you haven't won a Big 12 game and you're 1-7 and you're at home on homecoming. You got to be able to make these type of calls. And it was really well done by Vanderkamp. Nice fake. Puts a lot of ball under, a lot of air under that ball, and Coleman took a shot. He's getting hugs from the tight end, E.J. Bibbs right there. Nice call, Coach.
Hey, Kirby, Vanderkamp.
Timeout. Iowa State. That's their second.
Vanderkamp now 2 for 2 in his career throwing the football. He says, put me in, Coach. Let me toss the pigskin. Biggest play of the game by far for Iowa State. The 3-time all Big 12 punter says, hey, I can throw a spiral, wind or no wind. First down, Cyclones when we return. punter, Kirby Vanderkamp, to spark the offense, which has been stymied thus far by the TCU defense. Now you've got Sam Richardson hitting the game at quarterback for the first time. Richardson buys time, now going to tuck it and run. End zone! Waiting for the sign. They will say he's in. They will say he's in. Sam Richardson. We told you we'd probably see him. On the first play, he comes into the game, runs it for a score from 15.
But that's why he's in the game, because he's a much better runner than Rojas. And so when really it's just a scramble drill at that point, receivers are covered. He sees an opening. He's able to take off with it. He gives him that element when he's at quarterback.
What a bizarre game this morning.
Well, we've got some trick plays, and all I know is confetti is flying here.
So think about this.
Jack Trice Stadium.
Baldy, we've had 2 touchdowns. They've both been scored by the backup quarterback.
Okay. Well, that's indicative of a strange game, isn't it?
It surely is.
It's kind of how it gets strange.
Well, if you include the fake punt, this drive was actually 8 plays and 59 yards as Cole Netton punches the extra point through. But this was the play of the drive. Vanderkamp completes it to Coleman. Sam Richardson off the bench, galloping for 15, and we're tied at 7. 12:44 remaining in the first half of play. With J.C. Pearson, Brian Baldinger, I'm Mike Morgan with you in Ames, Iowa. Homecoming for the 101st time at Iowa State. Coming off an 8-play, 59-yard drive. The big play, of course, the fake punt. Kirby Vanderkamp, a 25-yard pass to Justin Coleman, and all of a sudden, Iowa State has some momentum on its side for the first time. On the return, weaving his way through traffic, is Brandon Carter for 21.
Hey, Mike, let's go back to this fake punt, because you scout this. Now, here's TCU's punt return team. They don't rush Vanderkamp right here. So Iowa State saw this during the week on this side of the 50, and it sets up this fake. If just one guy is rushing Vanderkamp, maybe he can't throw that good of a pass. So it's good scouting by Iowa State. It's not good play by TCU's punt return team.
And guys, those are the kind of things that Iowa State's got to do, because with the offense that's struggling to move the ball, you got to try to find some ways, and obviously that gadget worked for them.
No question about it. And keep in mind, that was into the teeth of that wind. That wind is actually going left to right on your screen. Vanderkamp had to throw that football into the wind. Not a bad strike for a punter.
And really, if you just watch Casey Pahall's last throw to Ladarius Brown on first down, that was his best throw of the day. And I would expect right here that Pahall is going to start opening up this offense. Before this drive, into the wind, he was 3 of 6 for 10 yards. And I think we'll see a totally different quarterback right now.
TCU has already punted the football 5 times. Throwing here, and there is the laser and the precision of Casey Pahall into the hands of Josh Doxson for 13.
There's 2 throws now, back-to-back by Pahall, that look like the quarterback that played a week ago against West Virginia. Decisive, stick throw, good play action. The wind certainly bothered him in the first half, but I think this is going to be a little bit more aggressive right now with the wind behind him.
4 wide on first down. Cyclones dial up a blitz. Pass is incomplete. Wrong shoulder for Ladarius Brown.
Well, Jared Anderson is the offensive coordinator for TCU. He's halfway out onto the field, and there's certainly some miscommunication on the road here today between Pahall and his receivers. Right that time, Casey was throwing it one way. Ladarius Brown was running a different route.
There you see Wally Burnham, the longtime defensive coordinator.
Feeling pretty good about his overall performance of the Cyclones today.
Trying to power his way up the middle, can't do it. Stacked up by 3 or 4 Cyclones. That's Jordan Moore on the carry, who actually came to TCU as a safety, then converted to linebacker, and now he's playing running back.
Von Miller playing hurt. Rodney Coe made that play, limping off. He got some good penetration at defensive tackle.
Horned Frogs are 2 of 7 on 3rd down. This is 3rd and 9.
I mean, just a 3-man rush by Iowa State.
Caught at the 45, and the second effort will move the chains. Doxson, who was targeted 8 times last week, picks up 13 on a 1st down.
They went right after Trevone Miller in zone coverage. You can see he's limping. He really couldn't do anything to bring Doxson down that time. Miller in there, the injury to Luke Knott, who's had a bad hip. He's out for the year. Both teams have suffered tremendously by the injuries incurred throughout the season.
Yeah, they've been ravaging for each squad this year. This one through the hands of Boykin, and that's always dangerous.
It is. That ball had like a little spicy mustard to it. A little stack route, a little stop by Boykin. Got on him quick. You got to remember now, Casey Paul's got a very strong arm. Now the wind is behind him, so the ball comes out just a little bit hotter than what you may experience when you're in Fort Worth and that nice Texas weather they got going on down there.
7th play of the drive upcoming for TCU. Play action. Deep down the sideline, out of bounds. You saw the official throw the hat. The pass was caught by Brandon Carter after being out of bounds. Tribune was on the coverage for Iowa State.
This is a really bad route by Brandon Carter. I mean, you got to know where you're at on the field. He's going to come right out. He's right out of bounds right now. But it's not a catch. I mean, you got to review this. And they will. This is going to be backed up. This is an incompletion against Nigel Tribune, the freshman here. Nigel did a great job of widening him and forcing him out of bounds.
The ruling on the field is the receiver was pushed out of bounds, came back in and caught the ball.
Now, keep in mind now, it's a legal play if he gets pushed out and comes back in. Now, there's your debate right there, whether or not he was pushed out.
He's not pushed out right there. It's a bad route by Carter, and they're getting away with it. And they're in a wildcat position right here with Trevone Boykin at quarterback, but this has got to be reviewed. Paul Rhodes certainly wants an explanation from everybody.
I don't know if Paul Rhodes has enough energy to argue anymore going back to the Texas game.
He's not a real fan of some of the calls of the Zebras out there.
We'll keep it here for the review. 10:03 to play in the 2nd quarter, and obviously a huge call right here.
Well, Randy Crisco is the referee.
Timeout. Iowa State.
Well, what that tells me, Baldy, they were about to let it go after looking at it briefly.
The previous play is being challenged by Iowa State.
Paul Rhodes said, no, I want you to take another look.
I mean, he's clearly out of bounds and coming back in, and he hasn't reset to come back in bounds, so that can't be a legal catch.
I'm going to tell you another facet of this play. Brandon Carter, he goes airborne. This ball cannot touch the ground on the way down. So they could be reviewing that facet of the play as well.
Once you get underneath the hood to review, you can review all phases of the play.
Right. So watch the football here. That might be what overturns the reception.
I mean, that's not a full possession all the way through, because that ball moves after it hits the ground. Paul Rhodes has already made one good decision today, okay, on the fake punt, which led to their one touchdown. And I think if he doesn't call timeout to have this reviewed,
they play it.
They're going to play the ball with the ball at the 3-yard line.
And I think what you're going to, after watching that last review, and we had a great camera shot of it, the nose of the football hits the ground as the receiver Carter goes to the ground. I think they're going to call it an incomplete pass based on that. And again, we're talking about a big play. I mean, what that does, it sets you up inside the red zone, actually inside the 10. Great field position for TCU trying to find the end zone. That offense has really struggled today. This is easily the best drive of the game for the Horned Frogs. Watch again the nose of the football.
After further video review, two aspects of the play were looked at. The wide receiver was indeed pushed out of bounds, and it was indeed a catch. There was no bobble.
Wow. Well, I thought the second part of it for sure would be overturned. It looked like the nose of the football hit the ground.
I didn't think Nigel Tribune did enough to push him out of bounds. I mean, the receiver's job is to stay inbounds. They see it another way. And Nigel Tribune doesn't like it.
Iowa State, third and last time out of the house.
So a great break for TCU. Terrific field position. And there's Boykin back in at quarterback.
Yeah, last time he was in this position, he ran for TCU's lone touchdown. They're all loaded up there. Man-to-man coverage on the outside. They're all loaded to stop Boykin in the run.
Boykin keeps it. Boykin bounces outside. Touchdown TCU.
They knew it was coming, and they still couldn't stop it. Boykin 2 runs today and 2 touchdowns. Got a little help from his wide receiver on the outside. Ladarius Brown. Right here could be a little bit of a hole. Usually, this homecoming crowd's not liking some of these decisions here on this last drive.
And the good news for Iowa State, it's a great homecoming crowd. The bad news, they had a lot to be upset about on that last drive. Trevone Boykin, second rushing touchdown of the game, his 5th of the season. When we return, we'll join Laura McKeeman at our Fox College football studio.
Hey everyone, I'm Laura McKeeman, and here's what's coming your way on the Fox College Football Halftime Show presented by Arby's. There are 4 teams in the BCS Top 25 in early action today. Number 2 Florida State looks to clinch a spot in the ACC Championship game as it visits Wake Forest. Plus, a preview of Texas at West Virginia. Now back to Mike, Brian, and JC in Ames.
Thank you so much, Laura. Busy day of college football here on the Fox College Networks. Look forward to being with you throughout the day. A little bit of controversy on that last drive for TCU, the last touchdown. Nothing controversial about what Boykin did, but watch the hold there. That is the running back, Jordan Moore, grasping the Iowa State defender.
Yeah, Jacquez Washington right there, completely held as Boykin turns the corner. So Boykin 2 runs today out of the shotgun position of quarterback, and 2 runs led to 2 touchdowns. Caught a pass as well. I mean, just a valuable piece, especially with the loss of B.J. Catalan today at running back.
And how about this, Baldy? They go back to Rojas at quarterback. Back in that 5.
False start. Offense, entire line was not set. First down after a 5-yard penalty.
Now let's just look at the offensive line, see if they move. You can see Rojas right here giving a signal to his wide receiver. I didn't see anybody moving. That showed on that W.
They called on the whole line. First and 15, one-handed catch and a first down. A beautiful grab by 84 Ernst Brunn Jr.
Wow, this is a one-handed grab. Here he is just going to come around and run a little dig route. An in-cut right here. Put that right hand up, one-handed catch all the way. Beautiful catch. See what happens when he falls.
Now Hackett falls right on top of him, and he might have gotten his hand or wrist caught underneath him.
I talked to him before the game, and he was telling me about Grant Rohach and his first start, and he was trying to calm him down and just doing what you would do as a senior, knowing what it's like for a freshman to come in there and make his first start at quarterback. Paul Rhodes out there looking at his senior tight end.
He did a great job of holding on to that football.
Not sure how he did that.
He's doing a little juggling act against his body right there. Not even sure it was a catch. They've got two pretty good tight ends in this offense. Brun, the man on the field right now, and Paul Rhodes was very high on E.J. Bibbs, who we saw catch a pass earlier today.
They go to a lot of two tight end set when they want to run the ball.
Good sign here. Looks like Brun going to walk off the field on virtually his own power. Senior out of Stone Mountain, Georgia. They recruit all over the place here at Iowa State. They've got them, a lot of Florida kids, a few Georgia kids.
E.J. Bibbs from Chicago. Texas, South Dakota, all over the map.
That's part of the challenge of the job. Paul Rhodes recognizes it. Coach Rhodes, plenty of ties to the state of Iowa. You know, the last time that TCU came here, Paul Rhodes was an assistant coach at Iowa State back in 1998.
Gary Patterson's first day in the job at TCU. His first game was here in Ames, Iowa.
Big hole up the middle for Aaron Wimberly, who's been rather quiet. They need to get number 2 going. 7 yards there.
Well, they ran right into the teeth of the defense that time. Good job inside by Farniok and Locke.
Wimberly now 8 carries, 19 yards. Again, on second down, pushing the pile, and that should be enough for a first. Marcus Mallett, the Sam linebacker, on the stop for TCU.
You know, they did not have a good day last week against Kansas State, but I thought the offensive line of Iowa State played pretty well. Richardson in the game right now, and we've seen where he gives them a lift when he's in there as a runner.
Richardson, in his one play so far today, ran for a touchdown. The musical quarterbacks continues in Ames, Iowa. As we say hello again to JC.
Yeah, guys, not sure what exactly happened to E.J. Brun, but they just loaded him on the cart, and now they're taking him into the locker room, so I'm sure he'll be evaluated. I'll try to find out if he's going to be able to come back in the game or not.
All right, thanks, JC. Sometimes to get that information, it's like declassifying CIA files. A lot of colleges and coaches don't want to reveal a whole lot these days. We just try to find out who the starting quarterback for Iowa State is. That's always a challenge when we come to Ames.
I had to be a super sleuth to get that.
Yes, you did. Second and short for Wimberly. And a penalty flag on the ground at about the 48 of TCU.
Tua Ua from the backside was unblocked.
Personal foul, shot block, offense number 74. 15-yard penalty, second down.
It's the all-conference center, Tom Farniok.
Well, there's an example of a lineman engaged. Okay, so here's Farniok. So take a look here. Right here. He cuts him. I guess they think right there that he's being also blocked by Daigle. I didn't see that either. Only one guy has to be engaged with him, and then the other guy comes and chop blocks him, but that didn't look like that was the case with Farniok.
It's almost as if they were anticipating a chop block there.
That angle didn't look like it.
Now it's Rohach back in at quarterback. Second down and 25. A swing pass. Nice cutback. And down to the 40-yard line is Wimberly. Kevin White trips him up there after a gain of 7.
Well, you can see that they're going to play both quarterbacks. And really for Paul Rhodes over the last 5 or so years, I mean, they've been juggling quarterbacks off and on throughout that time. They're trying to find somebody that can really establish himself as the guy to build around. and they've had trouble doing it.
And he told us that's been the most frustrating part of the job is the lack of continuity at the quarterback spot. 3rd 17. Rojas scrambling for his life and is brought down. Technically, it's a gain, but great defense by TCU and big number 98, John Lewis, providing the pounding.
It's hard to tell from up here, really, if there's anybody open or if Grant Rojas is just not really able to pull the trigger right here on 3rd down. I mean, their biggest problem from their quarterbacks, no matter who's in there, is the inability to make any big pass plays down the field. Even when guys are open, sometimes they refuse to throw it.
Well, last time Vanderkamp threw a pass, I can't remember the last time I saw back-to-back fake punts as he unloads it and angles it out of bounds near the 25-yard line. TCU will take over. The Horned Frogs leading it 14-7. Gary Patterson and company trying to pick up another road win. Homecoming here in Ames, Iowa.
TCU up 14-7 right now here in Ames. But guys, this game is all about adjustments, and for Iowa State defensively, I think they've got to make an adjustment when Casey Paul Hall is at quarterback, especially with the wind. You got to play pass, play coverage, make them run the ball. But then when Trevone Boykin is at quarterback, you got to load the box and play run and try to make him pass. So they've got to make those adjustments defensively, I think.
Makes sense to me as TCU goes to the air on 1st down. A nice run after catch by Brandon Carter for the 1st down as he picks up 15. And, you know, Baldy, again, as we talked about at the top, TCU, 2 of its top running backs are out of the game, so you can understand the strategy that JC's talking about.
And really, JC is right. I mean, right now they're just going to an empty set for the 2nd straight play in a row. No running backs back there. Going with 5 wide receivers and letting Paul Hall throw it.
Quick strike, 45, the slant. And again, finding enough room for the 1st down. That is Trevone Boykin. We watched film yesterday, and so much of what TCU does offensively, quick slants and skinny post patterns. They love going to that.
Well, they do, and really, right now, Iowa State's playing off them, so those kind of plays are there.
Gaping hole up the middle. Banging his way to 1st down yardage is the sophomore Jordan Moore, 11. Move the chains for the Horned Frogs.
Well, the big problem with Iowa State's defense this year, besides giving up 40 points a game, is they just don't take the ball away. They only have 3 interceptions in the 8 games so far this year.
Caught behind the line and then maneuvering his way to a 5-yard gain is Ladarius Brown before Javon Miller trips him up.
Aaron Green in the backfield here for TCU as they try to go up tempo. Ladarius Brown on the outside right here. A little stop route. Boykin gets him a good block on the outside.
5-man rush on 2nd down. Paul Hall, nice catch. Pulling in the grab is Brandon Carter. Just a couple of yards, but there was some good-looking hands there shown by the junior.
Well, Brandon Carter was their big play, one of their big play receivers last year. I mean, they lost Guy Dawson and Josh Boyce to the NFL. And so Carter was a guy that was supposed to be expected, but he's had a lot of issues off the field, so he's been in and out of the lineup. But so far today, some of the big catches have been for Brandon Carter. He's out there now on this 3rd and 3.
Casey Paul Hall, a perfect 4 for 4 on this drive, and now
too many guys in the huddle.
Substitution infraction, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
I think they were trying to race Paul Hall off the field in favor of Trevone Boykin.
Well, right there, Woody Burnham likes it, backs him up 5 yards, and let's say Gary Patterson's giving it to his coaches right there, not getting the right personnel on the field as he should. Wally Burnham over there on the other side trying to play chess. All kinds of confusion for TCU trying to get the right players on.
Timeout. TCU. This is a 30-second team timeout. It's TCU's 2nd timeout of the half.
So better safe than sorry on 3rd down and 8. And as we look at the Big 12 players of the week, Anybody stand out there on that list to you, Baldy?
Well, Oklahoma State's a hot team right now. You know, and Clint Shelf is taking that job away. The 2 touchdown passes. They're running the ball very well. We saw them 2 weeks ago. Right here, they ran the ball for over 200 yards. But yeah, I mean, Ryan Mueller there. Nice job with the two tackles for a loss. Kansas State. Preston Wynn was up 41-0 late in that game a week ago against Iowa State.
We'll see Mueller in Kansas State next week against TCU in Manhattan. This is 3rd and 8 for Paul Hall. Lobs it and knocked away. Great coverage on the play. It was intended for Aaron Green, the back, but terrific defense by Jaquez Washington, the all Big 12 safety.
Paul Hall had to fit that ball in perfectly that time, just floated a little bit too far. Now Washington there just playing the deep safety over the top of that.
Fair catch right at the 10-yard line by Albert Gary. The Horned Frogs leading it by 7. First half highlights. Biggest play early on was this. The muff punt by Gary. That set up good field position for TCU. First play that Trevone Boykin comes in, runs for 18 in the score. Iowa State really struggling on offense before this play. The fake punt. Vanderkamp, 2 for 2 in his career, completes it to Coleman, and then Sam Richardson comes into the game at quarterback, scampers for a score. We were tied, but then TCU best drive of the day. A key pass down the sideline, which was controversial. It did hold up. Boykin would come in and run in for the score, and that's been the difference. We've had 3 touchdowns. They've all been by the backup quarterbacks in this game.
Watch Paul Dawson, right, how quickly he sees that ball pitched. He's in the backfield right there. He has been really impressive. We've got 2 really good middle linebackers today, between Jeremiah George and Paul Dawson here.
Second and 11. Running for his life, Rohach. And slides in safely at the 20-yard line. Iowa State fans wanted a late hit. It goes for 11, just short. It'll be 3rd down and about a half yard.
Best run of the day for Iowa State.
Banging his way to the first down is Wimberly.
Well, with 2 minutes and 48 seconds to go here in the second quarter, I mean, Iowa State's got to think points, but you want to be aggressive with the football. You want to turn it over here, but I don't think they can run the ball down the field against TCU. They haven't run it well so far today. Put the ball in Rohach's hands and see what he can do here.
And Iowa State has burned all 3 of its timeouts. It's like it would definitely be a factor here. It'll stop on the incompletion intended for Bundrich, who's been rather quiet thus far today.
Well, that ball was thrown behind him. I mean, you know, he had to step onto the defender. And interesting, just listen to Paul Rhodes talk this week after going 1-7 with that loss to Kansas State. He thought the pressure was off this team, and they practiced a little bit looser this week.
119 yards of offense thus far for Iowa State. You want to talk about a lack of continuity. We've talked about the quarterbacks, and of course, again, we've seen Paul Rhodes go with 9 different starters on the offensive line. You of all people, Baldy, know how complicated that can be. Just disrupts everything.
Well, I mean, especially if you want to be a running football team. I mean, you just don't play with a lot of confidence right there. You can't keep the same group together from week to week. Just offensive line combinations. This is the 9th game this year. They've had 8 different combinations.
3rd down and 9. Iowa State 2 of 8 on 3rd thus far. And a drop near the 30. That would have been close to the marker. Bundrich, who we just talked about, that time the throw was on target.
Well, it's a perfect throw. It was just in a slant route. He's got inside the defender right now. Deontay Gray, he's got him beat. Looks like he had taken his eyes off for just a flash bulb of a second. See who was coming at him, and that's enough. Rohach trying to give a little Little pat on the head to Bunders, but that was a bad drop.
Oh, this would wind up being a terrible punt. We're talking about an All-American punter, but the wind definitely taking its toll on that punt. For a Fox College football game break, let's check in with Laura McKeeman.
All right, Mike, more from the Big 12. K-State at number 25, Texas Tech. Jake Waters, a 13-yard touchdown run, makes it 35-10 Wildcats. And Waters has now rushed for 2 touchdowns and thrown for 1. Red Raiders fans are getting a little antsy, guys.
Well, I bet they are, Laura. But again, Kansas State, that's not a team you want to face right now. They've got it clicking on all cylinders. We'll see them next week against this TCU squad. Hall misses one in at the 30. Brandon Carter hauls it in. Watson on this coverage and stop for Iowa State. And now a player down for the Cyclones.
Javon Miller gets up under his own power.
Now, don't forget, coming up on the Fox College Football Halftime Show, presented by Arby's, BCS top 10 teams in early action. We'll preview Texas, West Virginia coming up later on as well. Maura McKeeman and Tony Banks with all the highlights plus plenty more at the half. 2nd down and 2. Paul Hall loads it up, fires it complete to the 15. There you see some of the arm strength from Casey Paul Hall.
Not just the arm strength, but the accuracy. I mean, he is TCU's all-time most accurate quarterback. I mean, that includes Andy Dalton and all the great ones that have been there. But yeah, I mean, he's over a 64% completion quarterback, and he showed all the elements of why on that throw.
Porter on that catch for 13 and a 1st down. Horned Frogs on the move. See the numbers on Paul Hall.
You ought to be looking for Trevone Boykin here in this slot. That's 2 touchdowns for TCU.
Paul Hall didn't like his first read and then throws it away on the hit. And now a late penalty flag. It was Brandon Jensen breathing down his neck and providing the wallop.
Here's the mesh in the backfield right now. I think he wants to throw it out here.
There's no foul on the play or intentional grounding. 2nd down.
He was in the pocket and he was dumping that ball to avoid the sack.
If you're an Iowa State fan this year, you're not a real big fan of officials in general. Paul Hall now 12 of 20. Rifles picked off. His knee hit the ground. Iowa State football.
Jan Broomfield.
Senior out of Palm Bay, Florida, number 26.
Hey, Paul Hall threw it right to him. This is a huge player. Broomfield back here at safety right now. Going to Boykin. Boykin looked like he was a little stumbly coming out of his break, and Broomfield's just guarding this goal line. Threw it behind Boykin. That was a bad throw by Paul. Threw a couple interceptions last week. One was a tip ball, but that one really was important because it really took points off the board for TCU. Right now, Iowa State just wants to get out of this half right here without any calamities.
Yeah, they just want to get to the locker room down 7.
Guys, what a big turnover that was for Iowa State, because now it looks like they're only going to be down 7 points at halftime. They easily could have been down 10 or should have probably been down 14. Trevone Boykin is wide open. If Casey Paul throws it out in front of him, that's a touchdown. So big stop for Iowa State.
Only the 4th interception of the year. Well, couldn't have come at a better time.
A big break for Iowa State near the end of the half. The Cyclones will have the football first in half number 2. Homecoming here in Ames, Iowa. Beautiful day weather-wise, and the Cyclones trying to pull off the upset. Our halftime score, TCU 14, Iowa State 7 when we return. Laura McKeeman and Tony Banks in our studio for Fox College Football Halftime, presented by Arby's. Our halftime score here at Ames, Iowa. TCU leading Iowa State on homecoming. And, you know, Baldy, when you look at this first half, the first 30 minutes of play, nothing was routine for either squad. It was bizarre in every sense of the word. But at the end of the day, if you're TCU, you're happy to be up 7.
Well, you're up 7, and you're trying to, break a 3-game losing streak right now. And so, look, the conditions have been tough. It's been tough to throw the football here today. The wind has been a factor. Field position has been huge, and so you almost think, who is it going to make the mistake in the second half? That may decide it.
As we look at the first half highlights, there were not a whole lot of offensive highlights, but every now and then we got a few by Trevone Boykin.
Well, Trevone Boykin, is a guy that came in and he caught the ball as a receiver right here. He blocked on the outside for Ladarius Brown on this play right here. He's got 2 runs, both of them read options, both of them have led to touchdowns. The 2 touchdowns that TCU currently has. And so Trevone Boykin has been an MVP in this first half. And for Iowa State, it all started with Vanderkamp on a fake punt to Justin Coleman. Got it down and they brought their backup quarterback in, Sam Richardson, scrambled for their 1 touchdown. And so all 3 touchdowns have been via the ground right now. And so we talked to my good partner right here. We look at the flags flying here on homecoming in Ames, Iowa. And J.C. Pearson, the wind is a factor. It has been throughout the first half. Tell me what you see right now down the field here, because there's not many stats that we can really discuss here from the first half because of the conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because it had died down right at the half, and it's picked back up now that the teams are getting ready to play again. And it has really affected the way the offenses have come out and played going into the wind versus being with the wind. So we'll see if they continue to play to adjust their game plan based on the wind.
And for TCU, JC, I thought that Casey Baja threw the ball much better with the wind at his back. But when he went into the wind, they struggled, and really Trevone Boykin was the guy that gave this team a lift. And we talked to him before the game, JC. He's just a football player. He loves to play, and he really contributed in a lot of ways in that first half.
Yeah, man, he's so versatile. He can run the ball. We've seen him run for 2 touchdowns. He can catch the ball, and he can even throw it. We haven't seen him throw it yet, but I won't be surprised to see him throw the ball some from that quarterback formation that he's been running out of here in the second half.
Iowa State needs something offensively here to give this team a lift. I thought the fake punt obviously got him field position that first half. It led to the first touchdown. But at quarterback, they're juggling, Grant Rohach right now and Sam Richardson. And you just wonder, does Richardson give them a better opportunity to move the football in the second half because of his ability to run with the ball, JC?
I think you hit it right on the head there, Baldy. He gives them another dimension with his speed, and we saw him score the touchdown, their only touchdown of the game so far. I think he needs to play more. He's a capable thrower, but he's got to be able to run the ball more, and then when he does throw, whoever that quarterback is in there, they've got to look for Bundrich. He's their big play guy, or E.J. Bibbs, their second leading receiver, so they've got to get their playmakers more involved in the second half.
Yeah, and I think they've got to take a couple of shots. I mean, they're trying to break us, a 5-game losing streak right now. I think they've got to take some shots for some big plays.
Well, Iowa State will have the first opportunity to take a big shot, and they'll do so with great field position. 1 man to beat. Down the sideline. Touchdown, Cyclones. Devondrick Neely. What a way to to start off half number 2, the second longest return in the history of Iowa State football. Extra point, up and through. Exactly what the doctor ordered.
Well, first of all, because they're kicking into the wind, Neely really doesn't have to worry about the end zone here. He catches it really off the bounce at the 3. Now he picks up a couple blockers here. He's got a lead blocker right now. That's the stiff arm right there that gets him free. Kicker falls down, breaks one more tackle, picks up the block on the outside. Now he's got a convoy going into the end zone. That's the big play that Iowa State hasn't just needed today, but has needed for the last 5 weeks.
Watch 18 there, Albert Gary, the other return man, leading the way on this block right up here.
No question, Albert Gary gets a couple blocks, gets him free right here, picks up a block on the outside there. So good teamwork coming down the Iowa State sideline. And it didn't take long for this homecoming crowd to get involved in the second half.
Second longest return in the history of Iowa State. Number 1 on that list. Here's a name for you.
Yeah.
Troy Davis, 99 yards, former Heisman Trophy candidate back in 1994. I think I still have a pile of postcards mailed to me trying to campaign for the Heisman back in 94. He was a special player back in the day, and that was a special play for Iowa State who needed some kind of spark. They get it. They're tied. Carter takes a knee. TCU will have it at the 25-yard line.
Well, that gives this team a spark that they've desperately needed. I mean, this is a team that over the last season, I mean, throughout the season, they've been outscored 168-82 in the first half, and now 14-14 right back in the game. And I'm sure Paul Rhodes was saying that at halftime. Let's get a big play. Let's even the score up. Let's start playing the second half, 14-14.
How'd you like to be the guy that suffered through that first half, was still in line at the bathroom, and just missed the biggest play of the game?
Hopefully the game's being T-bowed, right?
That's right. On first down, nothing doing. Aaron Green got stuffed behind the line of scrimmage.
That Rodney Coase had a good day. He's batted a couple balls down at the line of scrimmage. He also has had a couple tackles for losses today.
Give it up to the Iowa State special teams. Remember, they had the fake punt earlier.
Punt. No question. I mean, there's specialty. 3 different ways that you can win or lose a game. And special teams is a big part of it.
On second and long, Paul Hall cocks and fires, completes it after 30, and spun out of bounds is Ladarius Brown by Nigel Trevone. Well, the possessions for TCU in the first half, it was a punt-a-thon in half number 1, sprinkled in a couple of rushing touchdowns by Trevone Boykin. Well, of course, the big pick at the end of the half, TCU was inside the red zone. Should have came away with some points. Instead, they throw the interception. Paul Hall does. That was a little momentum boost for Iowa State going into the locker room, and coming out, they pick up the kickoff return for a score. 3rd and 5, it's Paul Hall, completing it wide open at the 38 and down to the 42-yard line. That's a first down for number 9, Josh Doxson, a sophomore out of Mansfield, Texas, for 13.
Iowa State broke down in protection that time. They brought an extra rusher, and protection broke down.
Up-tempo offense continues. Straight ahead running for Aaron Green. Gain of about 5.
You can see that the up-tempo was a big part of the halftime discussion for TCU.
Same play, second down. They'll set up a 3rd down and 3. Aaron Green again. No Wayman James suspended. No B.J. Catalon injured. So you've got Green, a sophomore, and Jordan Moore, number 29, into the game. He's a sophomore as well. Horned Frogs 4 of 10 on 3rd down. Ball Hall, low and incomplete.
Javon Miller was was right there on the coverage. So that's a great stop by Iowa State. Really, if you look at the way that they have played here, you got to love what Wally Burnham is doing, because they have shut down the running game of TCU, and that's the area where they have struggled all season long, is trying to stop the opposition from running.
Gary back to receive the punt. Off the foot of Perry. And a fair catch at the 18-yard line. Special teams has been huge for Iowa State. Second longest kickoff return in Cyclones history. Devondrick Neely. 12:17 to play in the third quarter. 14-14. A bizarre game here on homecoming at Ames, Iowa. Both teams in desperate need of a victory. Iowa State special teams playing a huge factor thus far. Now we'll see if the offense can get it going, and almost a pick there in and out of the hands of 26, Derek Kindred.
Derek Kindred starting today for Olabode at safety. You can see just the one touchdown in the first half, Iowa State off of the fake punt.
Cyclones have played both quarterbacks today. This has been the #1 target no matter who it's been at QB, Quentin Bundridge.
Good gain on second down there. Really can Grant Rohach make a play on third down right here just to sustain some offense and keep them on the field. Got the wind at their back.
Rohach just 5 of 14 for 51 yards. Passing down here, completes it. It's going to be close. Looks like he's going to mark it short. The tight end Bibbs. Isn't that Baldy one of those where if he's short, that's on the tight end, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got to get to the sticks here. That's all he's doing is running a route to the sticks. And yeah, he's short. They're going to have to punt this ball, and that's really on the tight end in that situation.
Probably be talked to about that, if not today, certainly during film.
Yeah, I mean, you leave yourself literally a foot short of the first down.
Vanderkamp, he got his leg into this one. If this takes a bounce, a good bounce, takes a bad bounce instead at about the 20-yard line. Still a great effort by Vanderkamp, the All-American. 53-yard punt, no return. Will we see some more of Trevone Boykin when we return? TCU, Iowa State tied at 14. Let's take a look at our Geico playbook, Baldy.
Well, the opening kickoff of the third quarter here, Devondrick Neely is going to pick up Albert Gary, lead him through the hole here. But this stiff arm at the 40-yard line, with his eyes down the field, the ball put away, was the big part of the play. The rest is just the backup running back here using his skills to get Iowa State to the end zone. And he's been the star so far today for Iowa State. Both touchdowns off special team performances.
The star for TCU has been the man at quarterback on this drive. This is Boykin. And Boykin's going to keep it, trying to turn the corner. Ball scored out of bounds at the 26-yard line after a pickup of 6. Our Mattress Firm update presented by Mattress Firm, our all-access update as we look at the playmakers for TCU.
Well, Pajo isn't throwing it like he was last week against West Virginia when he threw it 58 times, completing 40 of them. But Boykin right now at quarterback between two running backs.
Hands it off here, and firing through the hole on the right side is Aaron Green.
And I think this wind is playing a factor in Boykin right now, running into the wind. They weren't effective throwing it, so I think they're going to the option game here with Boykin. And what a weapon to be able to do that in these kind of conditions, JC.
Yeah, but guys, we talked about Iowa State needs to make an adjustment. Why not make those safeties come way down to the line of scrimmage, especially with Paul Hall being one of the wide receivers. You know he's not a threat, so you don't even have to help that corner play run when Trevone Boykin is at quarterback.
This play will be Paul Hall at quarterback. Hands it off. Second effort squirting through the hole is Jordan Moore.
You know, if you're defending TCU right now and you've got both quarterbacks on the field, Boykin and Pahal, and you're going back and forth, you have to take notice of which one is back there, because one is so much better than the other at running, and then the other is so much better at throwing.
Boykin has run it 4 times. He's caught 3 passes so far today. You see him lined up there in the slot at the bottom of your screen. Not this time. Going backwards is Aaron Green. A big lick by Rodney Coe.
And Rodney Coe is having his best day that I've watched him right now. Here he is in the middle. I mean, just defeats the block right here. Comes off, and there he is. He has been a monster inside.
One of the things we asked Paul Rhodes, give us 4 or 5 guys to look forward to in the future.
Yeah.
He only named 2 guys on defense. Rodney Coe was one of them.
Building blocks for next year's.
All kinds of movement there. 93, Brandon Jensen was in the middle of it. Was he drawn?
Yeah.
False start. Offense, number 3. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Oh, goodness. That's the 2nd time a receiver has been called for a false start. Brandon Carter. 4th penalty of the day for TCU.
You don't normally see an outside receiver move, and then the defensive tackle moves to that.
Right.
You're talking about seeing the whole field.
That's great peripheral vision.
That's what Brandon Jensen must have done.
That backs it up now to a 3rd and 13. Raleigh Burnham hunched over, looking on. 3-man rush. Paul wrapped up from behind. Sacked by Corey Morrissey, number 48, the hometown product, junior out of Ames, Iowa.
And it was just a straight 4-man rush. Coe got a little pressure up the middle, but Morrissey standing up here is just coming around to the backside of Casey Pahal. And he's working on James Dunbar there at left tackle. But really, you know, Pahal could not get that ball out of his hands quickly. The coverage was good, and 3rd and 13 helps you a little bit.
What a game thus far for the defense of Iowa State. They have had a long year overall. Finally rolls dead at the 25 for Ethan Ferry. Iowa State pumped up here in Ames. Homecoming. They're tied with TCU. Today's Coors Light Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. You see Gary Patterson on the sideline for TCU. The Century Club, Big 12 coaches with 100 wins at their current school. Of course, some of those date back to the Mountain West and Conference USA. But Gary Patterson basically put TCU back on the map. This is a program that won a couple of national championships in the 30s, Baldy, but for a long time it was kind of doom and gloom over there in Fort Worth. Now they are one of the nation's top programs.
Well, it's 13 years at the helm here, and he made some difficult decisions. He suspended Wayman James. He's kicked some guys off the team. He's had tough decisions to make, but he does the right things, though. And sometimes it costs you games, but it's the right decision.
On 2nd down, nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. Rohach goes down. John Kuntz, the big senior out of Aledo, Texas, on the sack, a loss of 9.
Yeah, John Kuntz just staying with it that time. You know, he was a former walk-on here at TCU, one of 5 guys for the Horned Frogs who's already got his degree. I tell you, you already have your degree and you get to play. That's like a bonus. Like, wow, I don't have to be at that early morning class.
This is 3rd down in Des Moines, 19 to be exact, and it's airmailed over Bundridge.
That was the right target. Just couldn't get it onto his fingertips.
And guys, and Baldy, like we talked about at halftime, where's Sam Richardson? He's their 2nd leading rusher. The offense is not being able to move the ball. He gives you another dimension, and he can still throw the ball. I'm surprised we're not seeing more of him.
In light of the way that Rohach has struggled today.
Bounce at the 45 and a fair catch at the 39-yard line. We'll see if TCU's offense can get something going when we return. Game here from Ames, Iowa. 6:35 remaining in the third quarter of play. Don't forget, coming up when we are done here, it'll be Tulsa taking on East Carolina in Conference USA. A chance to see Shane Carden, who leads the nation. How about that for a completion percentage?
Nice number there, almost 3/4 of his passes. I can remember, Casey Pahal, before he was suspended last year, he was leading the nation in quarterback efficiency rate, and his number was way up there.
Most of you will see that ball game. Check your local listings to see exactly what's coming up next. Meanwhile here, 14-14 game. We have had an astounding 11 3-and-outs in this game. 6 for Iowa State, 5 for TCU. We haven't had a single touchdown. We've had 4 of them today. None of them have been accounted for by the starting quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's setting the forward pass back a little bit today.
On 2nd down and 7. Boykin hands it off. Trying to run it wide and strung out very nicely by that Iowa State defense. Jansen Watson, number 2, trips up Aaron Green.
Well, Jeremiah George was sideline to sideline with that play. What a play. I mean, this is a kid, he wanted to go to Florida State bad. He's from Florida. He wanted to go there. He met Derek Brooks, his idol, who's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. He's just going to get out there and run. Bounces off players, and he likes to get there and add another notch in his belt for tackles from the senior middle linebacker.
Horned Frogs score of 12 on 3rd down. That one caught right near the marker. Boykin hauled it in. He needed 5. He might have gotten 4.5. We'll check the spot. He's short.
And guys, if I was TCU, I'd leave Trevone Boykin at quarterback right now, especially going into the wind. He's right now your best offensive player. He's doing a little bit of everything for you, and he's Iowa State's #1 concern. I'd leave him in at quarterback, and I'd go with it. And then once they get the wind in the 4th quarter, then I'd put Casey Pahal back at quarterback.
And to your point, JC, the other guy you were hoping to see more of, Sam Richardson, he was warming up before we went to break. We might see him in just a moment. First, for a Fox College football game break, let's check in with Laura McKeeman.
Mike, to the SEC we go. Number 9 Auburn against Tennessee, and similar to the 98-yard return we saw from Devondrick Neely today, here's a 90-yard kickoff return from Corey Grant. Made it 41-20, and Auburn is running away with it 48-23 in the 3rd.
Thank you, Laura. Can't say enough about the job Gus Malzahn has done on the Plains. They were woeful last year, and now they're actually, they're still in the hunt, technically speaking, in the SEC's Western Division.
8-1 going into today.
Remarkable coaching job. Richardson, as we teased to you, back in at quarterback. Neely on the carry, but an ankle tackle will actually hold him to a loss of 1.
Right now, Ethan Tufte down here for Iowa State. Guy that's got 25 starts, played a lot of different positions for the Cyclones. They have been juggling offensive linemen throughout the season.
Well, they've started 9 different linemen. And Baldy, we've talked about what Coach Rhodes talked to us about this week with the musical quarterbacks. And this is something that's been going on in the Paul Rhodes era now for 5 years. It seems like every time we're in town to do an Iowa State ball game, there's a bit of a controversy. Who's going to start? A little bit of consistency the first 2 years with Austin Arnott. Look at the last 3. Jance, Barnett, then Richardson. 3 guys last year started. Now we're right back where we started if you're Iowa State with 2 different guys.
Richardson's out. Rohach is in right now.
Shuffle continues, but this time it equates to a first down. A big play by Dondre Daly. First time we've called his name today.
Wow, this is just your basic hit screen to the outside right here. Gets a good block on the outside, which gives him a little bit of an alley. And he was just determined to pick up that first down. That was just effort on Daly's part.
13 for Daly, who's coming off his first career start a week ago.
I like more of those throws by Rohach, just trying to build some some confidence.
Again, off target. How often have we seen that where a pass is behind the intended target? The target there was Neely.
Yeah, but he had Justin Coleman just running, the wide hitch route on the outside. I mean, he was open. Just make the easier throw sometimes.
Rohach now 7 of 18. Hand off, nothing doing. Loss on the play as Aaron Wimberly is met by Davion Pearson.
Well, this is a defense that prides itself, one, on being able to stop the run, two, big plays. Now, we haven't seen the interceptions and forced fumbles today, but the tackles for a loss, that really knocks this Iowa State offense off its course here when they get to 3rd and 13. They just haven't had much success in this type of down and distance.
And as he throws, caught near the 40 and out of bounds for a first down is the tight end, E.J. Bibbs.
That's the best throw of the day by Rohach, no question about it. And he wants them up at the line of scrimmage, and he wants to go fast and try and catch TCU a little bit off guard.
16-yard pickup leads to the first down and a beautiful throw and catch.
That's a great catch by Coleman. Keeping his hands up off the ground, and here you go. Back-to-back first downs for the first time today.
Draw play. Wiggling his way up the middle is Chantrell Johnson. Gaining 6.
Well, when you're gaining big chunk yards like you had 3 plays in a row, the offense looks like it's got a little more juice to it.
Up tempo. Beautiful cut. And jitterbugging his way to first down yardage. More of Chantrell Johnson.
TCU just made a substitution. Coots comes in on the defensive line trying to keep a fresh body out there.
From the 34. Great second effort and a surge ahead by Johnson.
Oh, for the first time today, this offense has TCU on its heels. No question about it. And it's the tempo and execution, and it's Rohach making that big 3rd and 13 conversion that got it started.
2nd and 6, looking deep, has a man and just overshoots Bundridge. Penalty flag on the play. After a flurry of 3 and outs, we're seeing some offense here, Baldy.
Had no pass rush on that last throw by Rohach.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 98 on the defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Oh, it's on the backup defensive tackle, John Lewis. And we saw in that last shot a lot of hands on hips by those TCU defenders, getting a little tired for the first time today with this up-tempo offense.
That tempo wants to take over right now. They don't even want to. After the penalty, they're ready to go. Lined up and ready.
Rohach finding a rhythm, and that one through the hands, and then a big lick. Albert Gary should have caught it, but then took a shot.
Wow, that looked like a helpless receiver type hit. Coming just in the middle here, into the slot. In the NFL, they throw flags when they hit defenseless receivers like that after the ball's through his hands. They're kindred with the big hit.
This is the 13th play of the drive. Handoff. And upended is Neely. Give him a couple. It'll set up a 3rd and 8.
Now, they want to score a touchdown here, but really, Rohach, as a freshman, making his first start, he's got to realize you do not want to do anything to mess with the field position. You're dead set in front of the field goal here. You've got the field goal in your back pocket. Don't force the ball here. Don't make any kind of a bad play in this situation.
TCU, one of the top teams in the country with 17 interceptions. End zone, leaping catch, out of bounds. Great effort by Daly, but could not get a foot inbounds.
That's a great throw by Rojas, though. I mean, it was the right throw. It was the right touch. It was a good shot. Coming right into your living room here. Really, Daly did a good job of going up and get it, but you can see he just ran out of real estate.
They were going on Deontay Gray. We talked about earlier, JC was saying, why not pick on him a little bit? Wally Burnham's so intense right now. His hat's on sideways. That's Paul Rhodes, actually.
Fourth down.
Paul Rhodes needs somebody to help him with his hat. That's not a good look.
No, but he doesn't want to screw up the opportunity here of taking a lead. They've had the lead so few minutes this season.
This will be from 35 yards. Netting 6 of 9 overall this year. Snap is down, kick is up, and through. Iowa State enjoying its first lead in the last 5 games. You got to go back to that controversial Texas game. That was over a month ago.
And that was probably the best drive they've had in the last 5 games. 15 plays, 64 yards. Rojas making a huge throw to Bibbs on 3rd and 13. That catch by Coleman off his fingertips. Nice run right here by Chantrell Johnson. Getting a first down. This touchdown shot to Daly just out of bounds. But you see Rojas is such an emotional kid. Like he felt some success on that drive that time.
Well, they needed that in the worst way. We talked about the 3 and outs. They had a half dozen of them. The BMW scoring drive for the Cyclones. 15 plays, 64 yards, 3:24 off the clock. By far the best drive of the game. Everything clicking there for Iowa State. And now we'll see what TCU can offer on offense and who will orchestrate the drive at quarterback. From the crew that brings you America's #1 pregame show comes Fox Football Daily with all the news, opinions, and insight you need on the NFL and college football. Fox Football Daily weeknights at 6 Eastern only on Fox Sports 1.
Oh, so many good games tomorrow. Carolina traveling to San Francisco. Philadelphia going to Green Bay tomorrow. Some real top-notch competition.
We're going to find out just how good the Carolina Panthers are.
They've won 4 in a row, and they haven't beaten a team with a winning record.
Right.
So the 49ers coming off a bye. It'll be a good test for them.
Cam Newton, Colin Kaepernick. Pretty exciting quarterback matchup there. On first down, Hornfrogs trying to get the running game going. I got to tell you what, Iowa State has stiffened up the defense in this ball game. They came in almost dead last in every category defensively. Wally Burnham has had to play shorthanded, but they have stepped it up today.
No question. I mean, they came in today giving up over 5 yards a carry. TCU isn't close to it today. Really, their run defense has been the key here. Man in the middle, Jeremiah George got good protection up front with Rodney Coe and Jensen. Irving giving them a little protection.
Second down and 10, and scooting behind the right side of that line is Aaron Green.
What you see, though, in their ability to stop the run today, no big runs. So their tackling has been crisp. Knowing where your help is. Yeah, I don't think they've had a run probably over 15 yards all day today. I'd keep an eye on Trevone Boykin here. Where he lines up. There he is going into the near slot.
Third and 6. Nowhere near. They have gotten very little continuity in the passing game today. That was intended for Carter. With the exception of maybe one drive in this game, Baldy, Paul Hall just has not seemed in sync with his receivers today.
Not just in sync, but he's had no rhythm at all. Like just a drive that we just saw from Rojas. There hasn't been any sort of rhythm where they can just, build upon one play after another right now. It's a great defensive series here by Iowa State.
Coleman back to receive the punt. It's a good one. And all he can do is let his momentum send him out of bounds at the 31-yard line as we say hello to J.C. Pearson.
Yeah, pretty good punt there, guys. But you think on that 3rd and 6, they may have thought about running the ball just to run the timeout in the quarter, and now you can punt with the win and win the field position battle. I mean, you still give Iowa State the ball here at the 30-yard line, which is a pretty good starting point.
Good point, J.C. Gary Patterson trying to coach the defensive play caller, and run the whole team here as he sends his final signals in here to stop this pistol formation.
This will be the final play of the 3rd quarter. It's a good one for Iowa State as Dondre Daly hauls in another one. It comes down to the final 15. Cyclones and the Horned Frogs both in desperate need of a victory. We'll see who comes out with a win when we come back. You're watching Fox College Football. Our Coors Light game summary: Iowa State up by 3. Trevone Boykin's been the man for TCU, particularly with Casey Paulhall struggling today. Special teams have been huge for the Cyclones. And then on that last drive, finally, Grant Rohach and company getting into a rhythm and putting together their best drive of the day. Firing through the hole on 2nd down, 1st down yardage for Aaron Wimberly.
So Iowa State trying to follow up on that last drive that led to a field goal, and just over Paul Rhodes this week in a team that has lost 5 in a row. He just wanted a competitive game. They haven't been in one since Texas Tech.
Big time wallop in the backfield.
Yeah, there he is again.
On 2nd down, there is Paul Dawson leading the charge.
He is a really good player. Just taking over right here. I mean, he's just going to stiff this out. Recognize there he is, just almost like a run blitz up there at the line of scrimmage so quickly, and nobody got him at the offensive line, so he comes right through that A gap between the center and the guard.
11 tackles already for Dawson, who had a career-high 17 against Kansas this year. Nice connection there from Rohach to Daly. Those two have been on the same page this half.
Well, you see like play action pass that time, you know, where Rohach turns his back to the defense, and then this is just, you know, this is the way to throw the football. Throw it, you know, really firm and stick throw, put it right on his receivers like that. Threw that ball with a lot of confidence.
Horned Frogs showing blitz on 3rd and 6. And it's caught right near the marker. It'll depend, left foot, right foot. I think he's got it. That's Bibbs on the reception.
And that's a good catch by Bibbs, because he knew the defender was right on his back, and he snatched it out of the air with both hands. But another good throw by Rohach, and we're seeing a kid that's grown up in front of us and getting more confident.
Threaded the needle there. And does so here as well, but not the way. Kindred on the coverage. Nice job to poke it loose.
You know, TCU came in today with 26 sacks and 17 interceptions, and like they live off of these big plays. It's a nice play by Kindred. No interference, clean, knocked the ball away. Great coverage on Coleman.
On 2nd down from the 40. And drag forward to the 36-yard line. That's E.J. Bibbs for 10.
You know, Bibbs is a tight end, but he's been basically the slot receiver. And so here he is, just in the inside right here, just running a little stop. It's an option route. He'd go inside, outside, depending on what Hackett does, and he goes to the outside.
They'll mark it just short, 3rd and about a foot. Wimberly has that and then some before being dragged down by Davion Pearson. It's amazing, Baldy, how this Iowa State offense, which looks so dormant for the better part of 2.5, 3 quarters, now all of a sudden has so much life in it.
And you know, we haven't said anything. I haven't said much about the offensive line right here, but they've played an excellent 2nd half right now because they've really got TCU off balance, and everything is working for them.
Johnson goes in motion. Ninth play of the drive. Over the middle. It's sailed on him and almost picked off the hands of Deontay Gray.
Now, they haven't taken many deep shots today or the last couple of weeks, but this time Rojas get good protection right here. It's in really good pocket right now. I mean, it's just a four-man rush, but Amolier right there, good job. Along with Dunning over at left tackle. At least allowed them to take a shot down the field.
And again, you're going into the wind, as we've talked about, such a factor on a day like today, 20 miles plus. That's all is out. Fumble on the play, and TCU has recovered it.
Ekpe got the ball knocked right out of him. Clean hit. And TCU gets their first takeaway. Just mentioned that they had been living off of the turnovers all year. Just a good, hard, solid hit. Knocked the ball loose. All right, so here's Ekpe. He's just going to back up. Going to get a block on the outside. There's Hackett. We've mentioned he's their leading tackler, leading playmaker back there right now. Got right underneath him. Bent the knees and got right underneath him and knocked it loose.
Hackett with the stick. Kevin White with the recovery. 7th forced fumble of the year by that opportunistic TCU defense. That one intended for Boykin. Guess who? Jacquez Washington in the area.
I'll tell you, Chris Hackett has been a savior back there at safety this year. I mean, the numbers that he's putting up with another forced fumble, that was his 3rd, 4th fumble of the year. It gives this offense a little bit of life right now.
We should mention again, if you're joining us late, Jason Barrett, the All-American corner, out today with a shoulder injury. He has not played. On 2nd down, caught at the 31 and nowhere to run. Immediately hit after a pickup of a couple. That's Jordan Moore on the reception.
You can just see Iowa State just playing with a lot of confidence. I mean, it's a good open field tackle that time, but they're playing with energy. The crowd has been good for them. They haven't given up a big play today defensively, and they've been giving those up regularly in losses to Baylor and Oklahoma State and Kansas State.
Big 3rd and 7 right here. Horned Frogs score a 14 on 3rd. Pump fake, firing, tipped, and incomplete through the hands of Doxson. And Paul got hit there, down for the count a little bit.
Well, he wanted to get the ball out quick, but Iowa State had a 3-over-2 coverage, and it made him double pump right here. You're going to see he wants to get rid of it. He's got to pump it. Now he brings it back. Time he brings it back, he takes a shot. But here's what the coverage looks like. You can see they jumped that route, and now there's late getting the ball to Doxson over the middle.
That was Brandon Jensen hitting Paul Hall as he threw it. As you mentioned, perfect coverage. Coleman finds some daylight and tripped up near midfield. Iowa State special teams have been huge thus far, but a penalty flag back at the 27.
Illegal block in the back during the return, number 8. 1st and 10, timeout.
You'll see the illegal block at about the 30-yard line, and this will cost Iowa State about 30 yards of field position. Cyclones back on offense when we return. 17-14 our score.
State up 17-14 here at Ames. But I'll tell you what, guys, Gary Patterson did a great job on that last defensive play where they got the fumble, switched the coverage right before they snapped the ball. He knew something was coming. They were playing man on one side, zone on the other. He switched it up so they went man on the side that the ball was thrown and got the forced fumble.
And that sort of allowed Hackett to be free on the outside to make that hit to force the fumble.
Iowa State, not great field position after that penalty on the return. It's Chantrell Johnson. No gain on the play.
You know, this Grant Rojas, you know, he was born in Iowa City. So he knows what it's like to be in Iowa. He comes from an athletic family. His mother ran track. Her brother played at Wayne State, another at Fresno. Sister played basketball at Providence College in Rhode Island.
And again, only a redshirt freshman finds a wide open E.J. Bibbs, who leapfrogs a defender. And that will be a first down.
Yeah, here we go. Here's Bibbs right here. One falls down and Bibbs on the outside. 6 catch for E.J. Bibbs on the outside right now.
And off on first down. Breaking free and gets pummeled to the turf at the 38, but great job by Chantrell Johnson to kind of squeak through that line.
But watch E.J. Bibbs. We're talking about him as a pass catcher. He's got 6 catches today. Watch him seal the end of the line of scrimmage right here. Goes up to the safety. Takes care of Gamble there. Nice spin by Chantrell Johnson, staying alive here. Good gain on first down and over 6 yards.
Complete, and that'll move the chains. Guess who? E.J. Bibbs.
Well, he's having his best day of the year. I mean, here he is just really one-on-one right now on the outside. Look at this ball. He turns, and the ball is there. It's thrown high where you want it for the tight end. In front of their best defensive back in Chris Hackett. You see a kind of a growing combination between these two right now.
Bibbs came into the game with only 22 receptions the entire season. He's got 7 now today. Squeezing out a yard on the right side is Chantrell Johnson. But how about Rohach? I mean, he really looks now like an entirely different quarterback, playing with much more confidence.
Well, every throw right now is with confidence. He's stepping into the throws. He has the stronger arm, but now I think he's cutting it loose with some anticipation. So the ball's getting there before the defender can break up the pass.
Second and 9. Play action. Dangerous pass and somehow hauled in. Sticky fingers there by Quentin Bundridge.
Bundridge really showed some strong hands catching this ball. But just look at that, just taking the ball away right from Kindred, right out of the air. That's the kind of throw that says this quarterback's feeling more confident. You know, and this is probably what he did in high school. Those kind of throws, what got him recruited here.
I don't know if you could have covered it any better. 3rd and 10. Second run. Ooh, so close. About 2 yards shy.
Marcus Mallett with the tackle.
And Mallett down in pain.
Marcus Mallett, one of the 3 inside linebackers they've been playing today between Dawson, Anderson, and Mallett. He saved the first down run by Rohach that time.
Looks like he's going to be okay. That was the 7th play of the drive. And Marcus Mallett now with 7 tackles on the day.
Here's Anderson right here. He's going to take off to his right. He's going to open up this alley here for Rohach to run. He's got 1 to beat Mallett, and he couldn't do it.
Vanderkamp trying to pin it inside the 10. Looking good. Oh, boy. Wow. That was a thing of perfection. That's why he's an All-American. TCU will have it at the 1 when we return from Ames. It is the 101st homecoming in Ames, Iowa, and it's got a chance to be a special one. Cyclones up 3 and pinning TCU back at their own 1-yard line. Paul Hall from the end zone. Jump ball caught at the 31. What a play by Brandon Carter for 30.
And Paul Hall was not knocked down out of the end zone. He never saw it. Look at this shot that he takes at the very end here. He gets planted on the outside by Jared Brackens. And Carter has been their big play receiver. He had fallen down there and somehow regained his balance in front of Jansen Watson. And it got TCU out of harm's way.
We might look at that play as the play of the game. Nearing the 7-minute mark, Paul Hall launches one deep. Caught again at the 25. Down to the 24. It's Ladarius Brown.
2 passes, and they go 75 yards.
46 yards on that hookup.
What a throw by Paul Hall. Finally got a ball down the field.
He's got the wind at his back on this drive.
TCU seem to really get lined up right now. They got it right.
Fumble, and Paul Hall has to pounce on it at the 25.
They never looked set from the very beginning. Just trying to get lined up and what the play was, and this was almost a disaster for TCU. Paul Hall never had really got his fingers on it, never got his hands on it. That's the best thing you can do for all quarterbacks out there. You don't have a good grip, just get down on the ball. Don't try to do too much with it. As he comes off the field, and Trevone Boykin in there at quarterback. Paul Hall at wide receiver.
2nd and 12. Nice job on Aaron Green by that Iowa State defense, including number 50, Willie Scott.
Well, let's go back to Ladarius Brown, the big play earlier for, I think you said 46 yards, Mike. Just a straight go route. 6'4", their biggest receiver. Paul Hall, best throw that he made all day. Against Nigel Tribune, the freshman, who wasn't very far behind.
And Paul Hall is back in at quarterback. 3rd and 9. Set up the little screen. Get out of the hands and into the hands of Jeremiah George. It was intended for Brandon Carter. He juggled it. George grabbed it. Iowa State football.
And just look at the emotion that this play just caused. You can see Javon Miller knocked it loose, and Jeremiah George came up with it. And Iowa State just erupts off the sideline. They can spell victory and homecoming.
Those are 2 happy campers right there. On the left, Jeremiah George, the leading tackler in the Big 12. On the right, defensive coordinator Wally Burnham, who has certainly had his challenges this year, losing the likes of guys like Klein and Jake Knott to the NFL, injuries, all kinds of problems. But today, they've been stellar. And a stellar play by Chantrell Johnson for a first down.
Well, here's the play. Brandon Carter gets the ball knocked out by Javon Miller, and Jeremiah George is right there. 2nd interception of the season. Oh, Rose. Yeah. I mean, just raw emotion. You can just imagine Jeremiah George, a senior, not too many opportunities to go put that Cyclone jersey on. Feels pretty good about this effort.
They marked it short of the first down. This is actually 2nd and 1. It's about to be 3rd and 1. He has a great shot there, Paul Rhodes. If there ever was a good fit for a coach and a program, I mean, let's be honest, Paulie, this is not an easy job. It has its recruiting challenges, playing a very difficult league in the Big 12. And here's a guy that doesn't want to use this as a stepping stone job. No. He's told us he wants to stay here. He loves it here.
We drive right by his hometown of Ankeny here. You know, I mean, he's right in the backyard of Ames, Iowa. And really, I mean, these stands are full on a 1-7 team. It says something a lot about just the following that he has developed and built here. What Jack Trice Stadium is all about on Saturdays.
Absolutely. 3rd and 1. Richardson goes into the game. Slides right near the first down marker. Kindred, who's been all over the place at free safety, was there to meet him.
That's a good job, I think, of Courtney Messingham of using his quarterbacks and really juggling him back and forth. Remember, Washington is the one that scored the first touchdown, coming in after the fake field goal and running the 12 yards for the first touchdown of the game for the Cyclones.
How about the way these offenses have picked it up? If there was a movie based on the first half, they'd call it 3 and out.
There's enough of them.
Now each team's starting to move the football. It's been the turnovers that have done TCU in. Ordinarily, it's TCU forcing a bunch of turnovers. No gain for Chantrell Johnson. TCU now, they've forced a lot of turnovers, but they have turned it over 23 times. That is the most in the Big 12. That is not a number synonymous normally with a Gary Patterson team.
No, it isn't. Now, the 2 interceptions today, both of them driving into score when the ball's been turned over. One right before the half in the end zone.
Second down. Breaking through the initial tackle, Chantrell Johnson sets up third and manageable.
Timeout. TCU. It's their first timeout.
2:44 on the clock. Will the Cyclones pick up their first conference win of the year? We'll find out when we return from Ames, Iowa.
Somewhere on that microchip of a play sheet, Gary Patterson is dialing up a defense here to try and shut Iowa State down. I can't see any scenario where Iowa State would throw this football right now. I mean, the clock is their friend. I think they got to take as much time off this clock as they can and try to run this for the first down.
Daly and Johnson are the backs. Make it, throw it, almost intercepted. Deflected at the line by Ua. And I couldn't tell.
I just don't. I mean, the little cross buck action in the backfield here. Ua right there tips the ball up, but really that stopped the clock. You know, TCU doesn't have to use the timeout right now.
Right. So you give it to TCU, who has 2 timeouts left, 2:40 on the clock. I mean, really, they're in good shape.
Yeah, the Windows are back.
And they have a terrific kicker who actually attempted one earlier this year from 62. Not a good effort there by Vanderkamp, ordinarily reliable. So TCU has everything in its favor. Add good field position now. Just a shank off the foot of Kirby Vanderkamp.
I didn't like the way Iowa State handled that third down and then the punt that followed. And the result is TCU has great field position. Still 2 minutes and 34 seconds and 2 timeouts to work with, JC.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm like you, Baldy. Why didn't they run the ball on that third down, keep the clock moving? But you gotta, the game's on the line. You gotta punt the ball down the field. Big mistake.
Paul Hall from the pocket, in and out of the hands of Ladarius Brown.
Well, they really got to Paul Hall that time with just a straight 4-man rush. He has shown his toughness these last 2 weeks in the loss to West Virginia. There's Coe again. Coe has been their best defensive lineman today. It hasn't even been close. He has been all over the field. Davion Collins out at the tackle right now.
Paul Hall, 18 of 33. And puts that one right on target inside Iowa State territory at the 49-yard line. That is Doxson again, who's really emerging as a go-to target in this TCU offense.
And that's left him just under a yard short of the first down.
Going to throw it on third down, and it's behind Trevone Boykin.
Von Miller with the blitz kind of forced the ball out of Paul Hall's hands a little quicker than he wanted. Fourth down in the yard. 101st homecoming here in Ames. It really is big-time drama right now.
Boykin takes the snap, hands it off. Big hole up the middle. Cuts it up the 40. Past the 30 and down to the 26-yard line is the sophomore, Aaron Green.
Biggest run of the day inside. Straight zone read. Nice decision by Boykin. And Green bounces one to the outside. Showed his speed and balance on that one. Saved their biggest run of the day for the most important run of the day.
22 yards and you're already in the range of overthrow. Blitz dialed up. Pass caught. And pushed out of bounds is Brandon Carter. Jaquez Washington was there to meet him. 4-yard gain. Clock ticking. Under a minute 20. Horned Frogs have 2 timeouts remaining. Slipping, grinding, and finally going down inside the 20 is Moore. JC.
Yeah, guys, I'm surprised Trevone Boykin is not at quarterback right now. Just run the ball here. Don't even take a risk of throwing it and possibly getting it intercepted like they did on their previous drive. Just run the ball, run the timeout. You're already in field goal range. The wind is with you. Just don't mess it up here. I'm surprised that they're still throwing the ball.
Well, you've got 1 timeout left now. TCU burns one here. 58 seconds. Going back to the kicker, Overcrow. He's 5 of 5 from the 30s. He's 3 of 4, 40 to 49. And I'm told earlier this year, he attempted a 62-yarder that just missed. He has a phenomenal leg. So you don't need that much distance here. As JC mentioned, you've got the wind, and you've got a clutch kicker.
Well, you want to put the ball in the middle of the field. So they're going to put Boykin at quarterback here. Ballhall's at wide receiver. I mean, what you'd ultimately like to do on this 3rd down is at least get the ball to the middle of the field. Run the ball to the left.
Instead, they go right.
You get the first down.
Cut back and more. And banged out of bounds at the 3-yard line is Aaron Green.
Not what they're throwing here. They're going for the touchdown. They're going for the flat-out win. Aaron Green makes a big cut. Makes Jeremiah George miss. Really, their best drive of the day is right now.
Clock at 52. 1st and goal. It's Moore again. Great hit from the outside by big number 90, Mitchell Myers.
Remember, Boykin now has 2 rushing touchdowns. The 2 touchdowns for TCU today, both of them coming off the same play, a read option. And even though Iowa State knows that he's going to keep it, they haven't been able to stop him.
Now, Iowa State just called that timeout. They have 2 left. TCU still has 1 left. So, Baldy, I mean, they can still run here. Their playbook is still wide open if you're TCU.
It is. It is. I mean, you've got the downs in your favor. It's only 2nd down. You're 2nd down at the 3 here. You can go read option right now. You can take a shot to Ladarius Brown in the end zone, their biggest receiver. Doxson certainly has come on. No, you got the whole playbook to work with. Iowa State probably going to think if Boykin is at quarterback, that you got to think read option with his ability to really make the right decision with the ball in his hands.
Well, that's who's in at quarterback, Trevone Boykin.
He's got them all spread out.
Boykin to his right. Boykin bang down. It's a 1.
It's the ball out.
I think the linesman blew the whistle, saying he was down.
Well, Gary Patterson wants to get him lined up here and run it quickly.
High now. Iowa State, their 2nd charge team timeout. 30 seconds in length. Please put 41 seconds.
Let's take a look at Trevone Boykin here.
On the game clock.
Straight run all the way. Oh, yeah.
He's short.
Yeah.
And the play, he's definitely got the ball when he's down.
George and Broomfield right there cleaning them up. So you're third down at the half-yard line. You'd love to score in this third down and put this game away. If you don't make it, you kick the field goal.
Right.
I think you kick the field goal.
I think you're right. I mean, if you can't get it on third and short, why would you be confident you're going to get it on fourth and short?
Well, you've lost 3 in a row. You're on the road here. You may not want to go to overtime.
Right.
You may say, you know what? We got a heck of an athlete in Trevone Boykin. We'll live with him.
This will be the 10th play of this drive.
Most important thing is to get the snap.
Boykin runs left. Touchdown TCU with 38 seconds remaining.
The hat trick for Trevone Boykin. 3 touchdown runs today. All their points by the dual threat. Iowa State knew it was coming, and they still couldn't stop it.
Just barreling over Dion Broomfield, the safety. The extra point knocked through by Overchrome, and the crowd has been silenced here in Ames.
Well, good push by on the outside. He just looks for the opening, the first opening. And the one thing about Trevone Boykin, he is 215 pounds. He is got some size to him at 6'2", so he's not an easy guy to bring down.
Tell you what, let's not forget the job that Aaron Green did on that drive as well, setting up inside the 5. He had some big runs.
I think you got to go back though to what Iowa State did on their on that last possession there. They threw the ball on third down, had a chance to run a lot of time off the clock. Then they had a shank punt.
Yep.
You know, and really that was just a 58-yard drive. They got the ball at the 42-yard line.
You know, you hate to say it about a team, but there is something to be said about sometimes teams really just don't know how to finish. They don't know how to win these close games. Iowa State, they have been in a lot of games.
Oh, man. The Texas game, you know, I mean, is a huge example. Earlier this year, losing by a point. Ball went against them at the end.
Iowa State will have it at the 25-yard line. Well, I mentioned Aaron Green, how big he was on that drive. Today's principal financial edge of the game, play of the game, and here is number 22.
Aaron Green been bottled up all day, but his biggest run of the day was a huge run, getting him into Iowa State territory here, 22 yards, and TCU minus their top 3 rushers on the season today. Aaron Green stepped up, especially at the end.
Aaron Green, a good-looking player, 72 yards today. Former parade All-American who originally signed with Nebraska.
Oh, yeah. Then, transferred back.
Clock nearing 30 seconds. Fastball's incomplete. And Rohach took a shot right as he delivered it.
Yeah, and that was by who else but Paul Dawson.
Paul Dawson's going to be a lot of fun to watch the rest of this year, and he still has 1 more year of eligibility.
Transfer out of Trinity Valley Community College. Really just keeps getting better and better at that position.
Quick strike and through the hands of Bibbs. Now today's player of the game, Trevone Boykin. He's done a little bit of everything for this team this year. Today he was primarily used as a rushing quarterback, although he did catch 4 passes as a receiver, but the 3 touchdowns all on the ground.
Coming off of a 100-yard receiving day last week and a loss to West Virginia. 3 touchdown runs. You take that on any given Saturday.
Ton of running room straight up the middle. And down at the 45. That'll stop the clock at 17. Again, like that 1 timeout left for Iowa State. They will not use it here. And the but you've got to get the snap off. Oh, goodness. Oh, you wasted 6 seconds right there.
They got to have a play to go in that situation where it's just all verticals.
Iowa State, that's just third and last timeout. Please put 13 seconds on the game clock.
Now, and again, you can't.
This timeout is 30 seconds in length.
You can't say this enough, but Grant Rojas, not only just a freshman, but making his first career start. He has not been in this situation, obviously, and a little bit of a mistake there. You lose 4 seconds, as it turns out. Now you're down to 0 timeouts.
You know that, and it's all situational football. You get the ball close to midfield, you want to take one shot down the field, and then use your timeout if you can get that completion to take a shot to the end zone.
Incomplete, intended for Bundrich. Now, we mentioned at the top this would be a big win for either team for a number of different reasons. For TCU, the Horned Frogs would improve to 4-6, 2-5. Now we'll see them next week against the Little Apple, red-hot Kansas State team. That'll be a fun matchup. We got 9 seconds. This might be the final play. We're going to test the arm here of Grant Rojas against the wind from 55. Can he get it there? He didn't have time to get it there that time.
I'll tell you what, guys, how impressive win for TCU. Just another example of you just hang in and you fight all the way till the end. It wasn't always pretty, but they made the plays when they had to make them in the fourth quarter, and now their bowl hopes are still alive.
Huge day from that young man, Trevone Boykin.
Here's the final play, a little razzle-dazzle. Ooh, throw back, okay. Oh, had something going there for a while before that last toss, and that'll do it. TCU, the Road Warriors, they have been so good on the road. They've now won 5 out of the last 6 games on the road under that man, Gary Patterson. Great victory for TCU, 21-17, the final score, as the Horned Frogs spoil homecoming for the Cyclones. Coming up next, Conference USA action as Tulsa meets East Carolina. For Brian Baldinger and J.C. Pearson, I'm Mike Morgan. You've been watching Fox College Football on the Fox Sports Network. So long, everybody.